Well guys, there were quite a few shocking developments coming out of last night's edition of Monday Night Raw, including the massive return of Seth Rollins, who is set on reclaiming his World Heavyweight Championship from Damian Priest, the return of Uncle Howdy and his new sinister friends, and most shockingly, Drew McIntyre announcing live on the show that he was quitting WWE, and according to a breaking new behind-the-scenes rumor, Drew revealing on Raw last night that he was quitting WWE was reportedly not a part of some kind of a storyline or plan on WWE's part, and that McIntyre has legitimately left WWE following Raw last night, which has caused all sorts of chaos behind the scenes in the aftermath of the show. Now, when it comes to the backstory of Drew McIntyre quitting, or what led up to this shocking unscripted moment last night on Raw, it all came to a head at Clash at the Castle 2024 this past weekend, which saw Drew McIntyre once again screwed out of the World Heavyweight Championship by CM Punk during McIntyre's match against Damian Priest. Drew was so close to getting back his world title from Priest, only for CM Punk to once again ruin things for Drew McIntyre, and that moment of CM Punk screwing Drew McIntyre out of the World Heavyweight Championship at Clash at the Castle was reportedly the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak, and when that match was over, Drew had already apparently checked out of WWE and was done with the company. Now Drew tried to keep it together and collect himself after the major disappointment at Clash at the Castle, but as everyone saw last night on Raw, Drew just cannot accept what happened to him at the hands of CM Punk, and has decided that the only right thing to do now is to quit and walk away from the company, as he feels WWE are out to get him, so to speak, or ruin every big opportunity he gets. Drew McIntyre has legitimately walked out of WWE following Monday Night Raw, and for anyone skeptical of this shocking departure, McIntyre not only had a tense verbal altercation with Triple H behind the scenes, but as of earlier today, Drew McIntyre has completely deactivated his social media accounts on Twitter and Instagram, and one of our insider sources had the following information and news to share regarding this truly massive developing story. Quote, "Now we've seen a lot of the fan reactions on social media to Drew McIntyre announcing on Raw last night that he was quitting WWE, and while it definitely seems like most believe this to be some kind of a storyline or angle Triple H and WWE are working with Drew, from what we've heard right now, through our sources, Drew McIntyre is legitimately gone from WWE and has actually quit the company. A lot of you guys are probably aware that Drew McIntyre had recently re-signed with WWE not long after WrestleMania 40 to a very lucrative multi-year deal, but what should be noted is that it was not an easy thing for Hunter and other executives, including The Rock, to convince Drew McIntyre to sign a new deal. There was apparently a lot of hesitation on Drew's side to re-sign, as he felt like he wasn't going to be getting where he wanted to go in terms of his position on the card with the direction WWE has headed in lately, and it was months of back and forth negotiations with Drew that were unsuccessful, and at one point, Triple H felt like it was almost a lost cause when it came to re-signing Drew McIntyre not long before WrestleMania 40, as Drew kept declining contract offers, but WWE made one last-ditch attempt to re-sign Drew by offering an insane amount of money, a contract worth far more than what Drew's position on the card in WWE reflected, and that was apparently the only reason Drew re-signed, instead of letting his contract expire and try his luck with another major promotion like AEW, who were very keen on signing Drew had he left WWE. Drew thought the insane amount of money he was offered was proof enough that his position in WWE would be shifting, and that he would be getting another world title run soon, but the way things have went over the past 2 months are not what Drew thought would happen when he initially signed the new deal. What we've heard is that Drew McIntyre feels WWE are siding with the outsider in CM Punk over him these past few months, because although McIntyre understands things are done a lot of the time to further storylines, including CM Punk costing Drew the World Heavyweight Championship recently at the Clash at the Castle show, McIntyre felt he should have won the world title in front of his people in Scotland this past Saturday, and that he simply could have feuded with Punk for the world title come SummerSlam. There was no need in Drew's mind for Punk to once again cost him the title, especially when it meant so much for Drew McIntyre to capture the belt in front of the Scottish fans. What's worse is that Drew McIntyre has apparently got wind of the WWE's plans for his rivalry, or feud, with CM Punk, and WWE reportedly planned for Punk to go over McIntyre when they eventually clash at SummerSlam 2024, and this is something that has pushed McIntyre over the edge, so to speak, as not only did WWE have CM Punk cost Drew the chance to have a legitimate run as World Heavyweight Champion, while Punk's out injured for the time being, WWE planned for Drew McIntyre to lose the feud to CM Punk, which McIntyre wants no part of. There is currently speculation that Drew McIntyre has essentially told or informed Triple H and other officials that no amount of money could get him to job out to CM Punk at SummerSlam, and have his life turned upside down by Punk even while he's injured, so he's decided to quit and walk away from WWE. Now, the questions that a lot of fans would probably be asking would firstly be, well, is there any chance that Triple H and WWE would be able to convince Drew to return, or has McIntyre worked his final WWE match at Clash at the Castle and will be looking to get out of his current deal, and is there any way that McIntyre could actually get out of his current deal should he choose not to return? Well, what we know right now is that Hunter and other top-ranking WWE executives are working overtime, trying to smooth things out with Drew, and are dead set on getting McIntyre to reconsider his decision and return to WWE in time for SummerSlam. But Triple H is worried that Drew could be on the shelf for over a month until a new agreement is reached for Drew McIntyre to return, as Hunter is well aware just how furious Drew is, and knows he will need some time off before even considering coming back. Now, let's say even after a month break, Drew McIntyre is still adamant about quitting and leaving WWE. From what we've gathered, there is apparently some kind of an opt-out clause in Drew McIntyre's new deal that would allow him to leave WWE if he really wanted to. One of the things McIntyre apparently needed in this new contract before he re-signed, so there is definitely a chance that we've seen the last of Drew McIntyre in WWE. So guys, it appears as though Drew McIntyre could have legitimately quit WWE following Raw last night, and do you guys feel McIntyre would be justified for walking away from the company, especially after he had just re-signed to WWE for a massive money multi-year deal? A lot of fans definitely want to see the Drew McIntyre and CM Punk feud play out on WWE television leading up to SummerSlam, but Drew quitting the company has certainly put a wrench in those plans for the time being, and hopefully Hunter and other WWE officials will be able to convince Drew to reconsider and return in the near future. But if we have indeed seen the last of Drew McIntyre in WWE, we wish him well in the next phase of his wrestling career, which honestly would probably be a run in AEW. Well guys, that's it for today's major wrestling news. Make sure you leave a like and comment, and also make sure you subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on so you'll never miss out on an episode. Finally, if you haven't already, give us a follow on Twitter at TSE Wrestling, and we will see you guys in the next video.